News. Spring Bayou is quiet now. Gone are the thousands of people that lined the banks here this afternoon at noon to watch all of the young men dive for that sacred cross. It's been a day of prayer, a day for celebration, and many festivities that won't culminate until a formal ball here in Tarpon Springs tonight. We're going to share with you some of the colorful highlights that have become an annual tradition on January the 6th in Tarpon Springs. Also on First News this afternoon, you can look forward to a story from Bill Logan. He's doing a little golfing today, but not at an 18-hole course, rather at Tampa Stadium, where people turned out for.
I know, it's a big tradition every year. And doesn't the winner of the cross have good luck all during the year? Is that the idea?
That is the concept. However, the young men that we hear from today say that it's not so much luck as it is favor that's looked upon them, a proud tradition that they're happy to carry on.
I see. We'll look forward to seeing that a little later on. Thanks, Alan. Also today on Thursday...
Oh, Leslie, as you know, you've been here for so long as I have. Epiphany is always marked on January the 6th, and a large crowd, no matter what the weather is like, turns out here in Tarpon Springs. It's interesting to note about Epiphany, in Western civilizations, it commemorates the day that the wise men showed up at the birth of Christ. In England, for example, this is the 12th day of Christmas. It marks the end of 2 weeks of gift-giving there, a la the 12 days of Christmas. And from Eastern civilizations, particularly the Greek Orthodox Church, it means something else that is vividly portrayed here in Tarpon Springs each January the 6th, as you'll see when First News returns. Epiphany Day 1988 in the Greek community of Tarpon Springs. A most holy day on the Greek calendar, filled with reverence and revelry. It begins early in the morning with 4 hours of religious services here at St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church. Epiphany is practiced here commemorates the baptism of the adult Christ. The ceremony is presided over by Archbishop Iacobus, the spiritual leader of the Greek Orthodox Church in North and South America. It includes the blessing the lesser waters, to note that Jesus' baptism took place in the River Jordan. Outside the church, the 48 young men who will become principal actors in the drama of the blessing of the seas gather in prayer. Others circle around the young man who last year emerged from the cold spring waters, waving high his holy trophy.
Just surprised when I found it. Very surprised that no one else had gotten it. When you watch the tape now, everyone was over it and I wasn't.
It's said that this brings the person who comes up with the cross good luck for the year. What has your year been like?
It's been good. Family, school, things like that. The important things. You know, not wishing for things. You know.
Boys ages 16 to 18 and members of one of 5 area Greek Orthodox churches can dive for the cross. They hold the ceremony in high regard.
It doesn't mean TV, it doesn't mean publicity. It means your community, your church, they're proud of you. It means you got pride. To me, I bring something out of me. I believe in myself. It's a big thing to catch that cross. It's the biggest. It is. It's an honor. Not just for it's for your church, but for yourself, more like.
At precisely 12 noon, the clergy in their dazzling vestments lead the procession from the church to the spring. As the boys near the water's edge, they break ranks and dive or jump in the chilling water, all swimming for tiny boats tied together in a semicircle around the bayou. Thousands of onlookers jam the banks as the priest reads from the New Testament the account of Jesus' baptism. A white dove, symbolic of the Holy Ghost as the Spirit appeared on the day that Christ was immersed in the Jordan waters, is released. With the boys poised on the edge of the boats, the Archbishop throws a gold cross into the bayou, and the search for it begins. The throwing of the cross symbolizes the message cast upon the waves of this troubled world, while the efforts of the young divers symbolize man's struggle to attain the truth. It also recalls the old country religious rite of blessing the water before the fleet of sponge boats set out to sea. At last, 18-year-old Alex Joannou pops to the surface triumphantly. Hugged by his mother, he is blessed by the Archbishop.
I hope it brings me closer to my family and closer to my church.
Now, for the St. Petersburg Junior College freshman, certainly that was the highlight of his day. But for the other people who came out here, well, there are many more ceremonies like this one that's just wrapping up right now. They have had food and dance, and we're going to share a bit of that with you later on. Definitely a beautiful day, even if it was chilly for a dive into the spring. Let's get an update now on our temperatures and the forecast. Here's Roy Leap in the Pulse 13 Weather Center.
Thank you,
To the area of Tarpon Springs, that creates a lot of traffic problems. Here's Gary McHenry.
We have had a number of problems.
Diving for the cross has been one of the highlights of the day, but this also draws a lot of people here from out of state and, of course, in the state. And they're looking for more things than just the church ceremonies, such as Greek dancing and some of that delicious Greek food. Well, that's what we've got in store for you during the second half hour of First News. Plus, we're going to do a little golfing today with our leisure reporter, Bill Logan. Like Christmas, it's a day for families, for food, and for merrymaking. Much of Tarpon Springs' tradition comes from the sea. It's fishermen and famous spongers. The dance reflects their story. A sponger injured with the bends, struggling to survive. His friends trying to lend him a hand. The upbeat tempo symbolizes his memories of happier days, abundant sponges, youthful frolicking. Traditional food is part of the merriment as well. Including those tempting pastries.
The white one is the Greek wedding cookie. These two are baklava. They're made with walnuts and honey, really delicious. These are also made with honey and walnuts, chopped walnuts. They are really, really delicious. Thank you. Enjoy.
The Epiphany Day celebration continues tonight with a special formal ball that will feature Greek and American music and, of course, dance and probably more.
Join the town's Greek population as it celebrates Epiphany, which is an important religious holiday in the Greek Orthodox Church. Tarpon Springs celebration is the largest one outside the borders of Greece. As Newswatch 8's Craig Smith reports, it is both solemn and fun.
They come to hear the ancient words, a ritual barely changed for 14 centuries. This is Epiphany. It remembers the day Jesus was baptized in the River Jordan. It is one of the holiest days in the Greek Orthodox world. For 100 years, Tarpon Springs has proudly upheld the Epiphany tradition in the New World. To honor that devotion, the Archbishop of North and South America leads this service. But the celebration has a side that is less solemn, but no less religious. This is not the River of Jordan, but one of these young men is about to have one of the most memorable swims of his life. Barely 14 seconds after the cross hit the water, Alex Joanno had found it.
I just saw it was laying on the bottom, and I just picked it up. I just knew I'd never let go of it. I felt great.
Because Alex found the cross, he earned a special blessing from the Archbishop, a blessing to bring luck in the new year. Boys who will try again next year say it may take something more than luck to find the Epiphany cross in the first place.
Yeah, I think it's just meant to be. You can't say you're going to get it, you know. If it's meant for you. It's down there, you know. There's nothing else you can say. It's just meant for you.
Now that he's blessed with a special supply of luck, what does Alex hope to do with it? He hopes it will bring him closer to his family and his church. Craig Smith, Newswatch 8, Tarpon Springs.
Smile tells it.
He's 18-year-old Alex Joanno of Tarpon Springs.
Yeah. Alex, how do you feel, buddy?
Great.
Yeah.
Alex Joanno has earned his niche in local history. Among his peers, 1988 belongs to him. In Tarpon Springs, I'm Bill Campbell, Action News.
And that's Action News.